never thought I would make this pick, but it's the only pick that makes sense to me right now. Give me DeChambeau. Give me Bryson. Missed cuts the last 2 years. Welcome back to the Player Pursuits podcast. I'm your host, Alex Shattuck, and today we're going to do something a little different. We normally have had, guests, behind the scenes golf in the golf world, players, coaches, that kind of thing. Today we're going to do a little Masters preview. So I brought in the big guns. I brought in one of my college teammates, the man with more Masters spreadsheet and more information than he knows what to do with, Thomas Simmonds. How's it going, Tom? Welcome to the pod, and where are you?
Not bad, Shattuck. I'm just at home here in Gullen, just outside of Edinburgh. Probably best known for Muirfield next door to me, North Berwick down the road, and then Gullen first tee is probably about 6 iron away.
All right. Well, welcome. We're going to talk some master stuff, but we got to do some prep. We're going to do a draft. That'll be cool. Everyone can keep up with that. But Tom, you sent me a picture the other day with the official RNA membership. Tell us what that means. What are the perks? What are the responsibilities that go on with that?
I was very, very lucky to be accepted in this round of candidates a couple of weeks ago. So you get your links pass as part of it. So that's obviously the best value golf in the world, the 7 courses at St Andrews. And then apart from that, it's like any normal golf club. It just has the elements where you're able to, go on the rules committee, go on, do refereeing. You can do all these different things. It's pretty much like a normal golf club. It just has maybe the most famous clubhouse in golf, I think.
So would you say it's like being a member of St. Andrews, or is that kind of a misnomer?
No, I mean, that is pretty much in layman's terms, that is what it is. There's 5 clubs in St. Andrews, and this is just one of them. So you get rights on all the courses. Obviously, the old is impossible to get on. The RNA, we're lucky that in August, we are able to apply. We've got times about 6 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, something like that. So you're able to apply from those. And if you get one, then you can book yourself onto the old a little bit in advance and sign people on for some cheaper rates as well. So I'm looking forward to making use of that.
Making some new friends, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So diving into the Masters, it's obviously like Christmas for golfers around here. So we got, a week and a half out. Let's kind of talk about what the field looks like this year, right? I had a PGA Tour exec on as my last guest, obviously LIV versus PGA, all this stuff. Like, what LIV guys are in the field, and also, who do you think deserves a spot that maybe didn't get one? It was big news when Neiman got his invitation.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. I like how, the Masters is different in every regard. It's an invitation. They kind of reserve the right to not invite who they want. No one has that undue right to be there apart from past champions, really. So it's good seeing them, invite Neiman, someone who he's made the effort to go and play these European Tour events, these DP World Tour events, done well in them. Asian Tour events as well, International Series stuff. I mean, this guy's playing more golf than anyone on planet Earth, I think, right now. So I'm glad he's in there. The rest of the LIV guys, I don't know. It's hard to quantify, I think.
At the end of the day, it still is basically an exhibition. So it's hard to know what the strength of field actually is, because these players, most of them are not playing amongst other players all the time. And that's how every ranking system works, is this person beat this person who beat this person.
I mean, I get it. 3-round shotgun sounding like John Rahm here, but just don't really see it as a true golf event. Obviously, we played those at William & Mary. I find a shotgun just hard to kind of in tournament mode. I don't think that has the pressure of coming down the stretch, the last 4 or 5 holes with a lead, someone sitting in the clubhouse with their feet up, waiting for you. That's the kind of stuff that I think that misses out on. But, obviously their fields are pretty decent, especially with their Rahm acquisition.
Yeah, that's the big one this year, and it's like, do we consider him a live golfer this year since it's only been it's always hard to do that, but I mean, you can't deny the guy, like, they've all been playing well in these majors when they get in. So at the end of the day, it doesn't
I
really
mean,
matter.
I think Brooks is a different animal. I mean, that guy just needs a few rounds of golf here or there, and as he said, he just practices a bit more before the majors. So it's probably helped him. He can play just here and there where he wants to, gear up before the majors. But yeah, it's different. It's different.
All right. So Augusta is the only golf course I can think of in the world where I know every single hole and I've never stepped foot on the property. So one of the big things going into every year is, what changes have been made to the golf course, if any. I mean, ever since, we can go back to the late 90s and early thousands when they tried to, tiger proof the place. Like, it's always changing.
Yeah.
This year, almost nothing. They made number two, which I think it has the lowest scoring average of any hole out there relative to par. They extended it 10 yards, moved the tee box a little left. It's a big dog leg. So I guess the idea is that the Bombers can't just send it down the hill and hit, short irons in anymore. We'll see if it even makes a difference. 10 yards these days is
It's
nothing.
all about hitting that. It's all about hitting that slope just to the left of the bunker anyway. And I don't know if 10 yards is really going to be the difference. I mean, some of them, when you're sitting up the top of that hill anyway, these guys can get on there no problem. So, um, yeah, it just gives them something a little bit extra to think about, maybe in terms of they can't carry that bunker with a driver, um, which could lead to some wilder shots, maybe. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It could also have a negative effect where these guys just now definitely don't take driver, take 3-wood, and then take the bunker out of play. So we'll see. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's playing on like Rory McIlroy, PJ Tour games to watching the Masters every year. Yeah, you feel like you've played that golf course, don't you, without ever having been near it. It's kind of that dream golf course, I guess, right? In that
Well,
way.
that, and then, every year, our old golf team, we still have masters pools, and we're watching every hole, watching our guys and paying attention,
Yeah.
the betting markets, everything. We just know it so well. So I wanted to talk about winners over the last few years and what even matters at Augusta anymore, because you used to have this belief that, okay, the player needed to at least be able to work it right to left. The player needed to be long, all this stuff. And it seems like over the last few years, it's some of the rules, quote unquote, are getting tossed out the window. We're getting guys that hit it a little lower that are still playing well out there. We're getting guys that basically exclusively hit fades as a right-handed player, still playing well out there, contending, winning. So what even matters anymore?
Yeah, I mean, it was always that, the lefties did quite well because they hit their cuts, and then that was, the effect of a draw for a right-handed player. But I don't really see that. A lot of these guys just hit it so straight now, especially with the driver.
Everything's so
And
low spin.
if they need to, hit a draw, that's where they bring out the 3-wood, easier to hit a little bit of a draw with. But these guys can hit any shot they want to, and if they have just a consistent ball flight, something they know the slopes. I don't really see the draw being a necessity. No more Martin Keimers trying to change their swing here,
Exactly.
ruining their game for like 2-3 years just to try and play better at Augusta. So I mean, Scotty Scheffler, case in point. Rahm can hit the draw with a driver where he sets it back about a foot behind the ball, or whatever it is he does. That's a little
Ripped
interesting,
it
but
around. Yeah. But I
yeah,
seen, for some reason over the last few years, I just always have like picked Bubba in our pool, like late round, just thinking, well, at least he's got an advantage and whatever. And it's not his playground out there anymore.
no, I mean, I think the only thing at Augusta is guys who do well there consistently do well there. I think you can always look back at people's records there, and if they've made a lot of cuts, they tend to consistently make cuts, right? And it's a little bit easier, smaller field to make a cut, but these guys who know the course are the ones who, and have played practice rounds with the legends of the game, shown them the way around. Larry Mize out there teaching people how to read the greens and stuff. Those
Well, and
those are
it's
the
one
guys.
place where amateurs can kind of have success because once they qualify, they can go play 20 practice rounds before the tournament
Yeah,
starts and know every
yeah,
inch of the place. It's a very unique tournament setup. Players aren't always going into it blind. It's different, and that's part
yeah.
of why we like it. The Masters app has been like the greatest thing ever when it comes to
Oh yeah,
watching golf, and why the PGA Tour or Live or whoever can't just do it every week with the resources they have. I mean, you assume it's coming someday. It should just be now, but whatever.
yeah.
So when you're watching the Masters app or watching the coverage, what hole are you sitting and watching? Maybe a Thursday, Friday hole, and then a Saturday, Sunday hole.
I mean, I think it's always the basic answer, but Amen Corner just is the one that does it for me. Just the elements of 11 being such a brew of a hole, you know, tee shot wise, second shot wise, but then 12 as well. I love seeing guys step up in the hole where they have a 9-iron in their hand and you can't tell the way the wind's going. And these guys can look pretty dumb quite quickly. And that's probably about it. I mean, 15 is always good. I think 15 is quite interesting because these guys can, when they give it a rip, you can make an eagle there, but if you overshoot that green and it's firm, ball's hard to stop, pond over the back that everyone forgets about. But yeah, I mean, I'd probably I'm strictly Amen Corner, I'd probably say, for the first couple of days at least. And then I'll watch anything on the weekend. I'll follow the guys who I've got money on or who I've got in the pool. And those will be the guys that I follow for pretty much every shot that they hit.
Yeah,
For the
I mean,
last couple of years.
I'm a par five guy. Just show me the par fives, like
Yeah.
the variance that those holes offer. The margins are razor thin. That's oftentimes what's going to decide the tournament.
Oh, I mean, but yeah, I mean, we've seen Louis make a 2 there on the second. Um, Sergio make was it a 13 on the
Oh
13th a
God,
few years
yeah,
ago. Um, like, yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that. I think the par fives are the great, like, holes for something to happen,
I
either
mean, if you can
great.
just par the threes and fours and birdie most of the fives, you're going to be in contention.
I mean, your man, Zach Johnson, he showed us how to do that.
Yeah, we just need
Laying up
another,
on everyone.
35-degree and windy tournament where no one can reach the
Right.
par fives, and then just make it a wedge contest.
Yeah, exactly. It can happen. You never know. You never know. But I
Well,
let, they
in
have
some
such
ways, I'm
good
happy we're
control, of
doing.
course.
In some ways, I'm happy we're doing this before we get the weather report for the tournament, so we don't overthink it.
Yeah.
But as soon as the weather report comes, I'm going to look at my team and I'm going to regret every pick.
Oh yeah.
So we're just
Oh
going
yeah.
to operate under that. We'll think of something to put on it. We're going to see each other in 2-3 weeks. We'll put a dinner on it or something. It'll be good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get into the draft in a minute. But first, we got to talk about the women's am. The Augusta women's am has been it's become like the drive, chip, and putt, where it's like something we never had before, but is all of a sudden awesome and something I try to watch every year at some point. It's
Yeah.
like it's a little appetizer for the Masters, and these girls are good, like really good.
Oh yeah. I mean,
All
it's
right,
it's becoming ridiculous these days with how deep fields are of all these events. I mean, there's 15, 20 people in that women's am who we're going to see them. It's kind of like a preview in a way as well for women's golf coming down the next 5, 10 years. We're going to see these people winning majors, no doubt. The next Nelly Korda winning every event is probably going to be someone who's in this field who's played this and been there
Rose
that week
Zhang was I
before.
last year. Rose Zhang like almost coughed it up, pulled it out, and then a couple months later was a winner on the LPGA Tour.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's like the prep. It's like all these big events that all the amateurs have, right? It just kind of shows you who has it. It teaches them a little bit of that pressure, who can handle it, who can't. So yeah, it's great. I mean, I've loved having it there. It just makes that Masters week a little bit longer, right? It just gets you prepared and ready for what's coming the week after.
I think the perfect analogy, if we toss it over to like basketball, is like March Madness, right? Like
Yeah,
last night I watched the women's tournament for 5 hours. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Juju Watkins, right? Paige Beckers. This is sort of golf's version of that, right?
Yeah,
It's where the next generation is getting their chance to show who they are.
yeah,
And so
exactly.
we didn't do a heads or tails for this one because I just got to pick. I want to talk about Ingrid out of LSU. She's been there a few years. She's been playing some amazing golf this year. By far, the world's number one ranked amateur.
Yeah,
Missed the cut last year, but I'm gonna roll with her either way. Second and third in the first two events, or first 2 years that she played, and she's coming in hot. So I'm taking that one from you. We're not gonna put any money on that one.
all right.
Who you rolling with?
I mean, I'm going for Hannah Darling. I mean, she's a member here at Gullen. I've played with her a couple times. She has the best game I've ever seen. I mean, I played with her just before she went over to South Carolina, and it was just, I mean, the ball striking was just incredible. And she won. No, she didn't win. She tied for the win, I think, a couple weeks ago at the Darius Rucker event. Made her LPGA Tour debut a couple weeks ago. Missed the cut, sadly, but again, experience. She's been around better players there. I think that's going to help her.
And she's not a long shot. She's top 20 in the odds, so
yeah,
not.
I mean, not a long shot at all. But I've got to roll with my hometown person here, and it would be great to see her do it. It'd be really cool.
Perfect. So we're gonna do a draft here in a minute. We're gonna pause. All right, we'll come back. Quick break.
The game of golf. It's both challenging and rewarding, requiring focus, concentration, and the ability to tune out outside distractions. Peak performance is achieved through a synergy of body and mind. Shell Golf Apparel is designed with advanced textile technology that moves with you, with four-way stretch and moisture-wicking properties that keep you cool and dry. Visit shell.shop today and get 40% off the entire golf collection using promo code PlayerPursuits. Now, back to the podcast with your host, Alex Shattuck.
Let's go. All right, welcome back to the Player Pursuits podcast, Masters Draft Time. So we got together beforehand. What did we decide? We're going to do 10 picks each. We're going to add up the money list, or the money that each team makes, and that's going to determine it. And then we'll each pick one amateur we want to kind of highlight, put some focus on, and I guess we'll add whatever their money would have been to the team. Yep. All right. We need to figure out who goes first. So we'll go. What do you want? Heads or tails, Tom?
Heads.
Siri, heads or tails?
It's heads this time.
It's heads. All right.
My Siri,
we got heads. You got first pick. I'll give it to you. And here's for the audience. Tom's got 8 different spreadsheets. I'm gonna go on vibes. We're gonna go gut feeling versus analytics, and we're gonna see what wins out here.
I don't want that as an early doors excuse here.
It's not an excuse. I'm going on vibes. I've been coaching a lot. I've been teaching podcast stuff.
All right.
Let's go.
I'm not worried. All right. Well, I mean, first pick, I think it'd be bold not to take him one. So I'm going to take Mr. Live Letterman jacket himself, Jon Rahm.
Ooh, Jon Rahm. That's a twist. Why are you taking Rahm over the obvious pick?
I just love Rahm's game for it, and I think he's going to be out there with something to prove with his move to Live. I mean, his record kind of speaks for itself. Last 5 years, 4 top 10s. And I mean, that's the biggest thing I about him going to Live is that I just don't watch him play as much golf anymore. Mm-hmm. And I love the Spanish Bull. Love the way he plays the game, the aggression, leaves it all out there. So I'll give you world number one. It's okay. My guy's not respected in the rankings. It's fine.
Well, you did take last year's winner. Let's not poo-poo this too much. And I mean, I actually have to agree with you. I don't normally agree with like he's coming in with the right mentality and like all that, but I do think he's going to come in with some vengeance because he's upset that everyone's talking about his move to live and not recognizing that he doesn't get to defend his titles. And he's been open and honest in interviews, right? He's saying, yeah, this hurts. I don't get to go back to the tournament I won last year and try to defend my title. And this is the only tournament this year that he's going to get the chance to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, that's exactly. I think he's going to be, I think those two, it's a coin toss again between the two of them. Let's be honest, Scotty Scheffler on any given day can beat pretty much anybody. Especially now he's pretty much sorted the putter, apart from that last little 18-hole miss last week.
We'll see. All right, so the secret's not out. I'm going to take Scotty Scheffler number 2. Scotty won 2 years ago, top 10 last year, and he's coming in with, I think, the lowest Masters odds since Tiger's prime from Purely Betting Market, right? 4-1. I think you said, we were talking earlier, and you said that I'm not putting any money on that. The odds are too low. The field's too good. Like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree, but I'm still drafting him.
I don't think that takes away from the draft element. I just think money-wise, putting money on golf events, no matter how good somebody is, those odds are just crazy when there's, probably 25 guys in that field who can easily win the event.
And this is the first time I can think of trying to draft someone for a Masters who's putted with 3 or 4 different putters in the last year.
Yeah, I think he's found it.
But that's how good this man hits the golf ball.
Oh yeah, I always say though, I don't enjoy watching him play as much purely because there isn't that element of surprise that you get from a Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas. Yeah, it's just I don't get that element of he's one of us because he just isn't one of us. All these other guys, you can see little bits in their game, some shots here or there where you're like, hey, I could do that. Him, yeah, it's crazy how good he is.
Yeah, the only things that ever scared me about that, that scare me about Scheffler is the fact that he'll say in interviews he cannot draw his driver, and he's used 4 or 5 putters this year. Not even different models, completely different brands. So, I think he's onto this mallet. He's onto this mallet after Rory, made that comment. I'm surprised it took him that long to try a different shape of putter, to be honest. I'm sure in the background he's been sat at home trying everything under the sun. But yeah, he's tough to beat. It's 2 wins. Need him to switch putters one more time for that new putter syndrome. All right, 1 and 2 off the board. Round 1. Who are you going with round 2?
Round 2, I am going to take, and this, personally, I don't see him winning because
with the 3rd pick, you're going to take someone who you don't think is going to win. This is
I don't see him. It could happen. Yeah. Personally, I don't see it happening for him, but I'm going to take Rory.
You don't like Rory.
Yeah, I'm an outlier. I'm an outlier where I don't mind the guy. I think he speaks a lot, talks a lot of different sides. His mind's changed about this live quite a lot. I just, in the way of not winning, I just don't see the killer instinct that you see out of Scheffler. Like when he's charging. Rory's going to have the best career known to man with top 10s in majors because he backdoors them for fun. I think we saw that last year, like year before as well, where he holed out from the bunker. He shoots 64 in the last day to come 2nd or 3rd. And, maybe he has the game. We're talking about draws. Rory hits that draw. There's no reason why he shouldn't be able to do it. But I think he's almost a guaranteed top 10. The last 5 years, he's missed 2 cuts, but he's had the other ones have been top 10s. So
He does not finish. Yeah, he's got what in my thing, right? He's got 21st in 2019, but other than that, it's top 10 city.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's his game. I think he started the season well. He's been trending, not great so far, but who knows? He's been trying to play more golf coming into the major, to change up his luck a little bit, I think, to get that Grand Slam, but we'll see. I will see. It's hard to, Rory's such an incredible player that it's hard to say he's never going to do it. I just don't see it happening. But for our 10 picks, he's going to bring me money. He's going to bring me money.
You know what? For pick number 4, I'm going to actually go in the same vein. I don't think he's going to win, but I can't imagine this man missing the cut. Hideki Matsuyama. I'm going ball striking. I say this to my players, juniors, college players, that kind of thing. Ball striking is the price of admission. Ball striking alone can make you the cut. And then you just get lucky, make a few putts, and you're in contention. I'm going ball striking. I'll take Scheffler. I'll take Matsuyama.
Yeah. That's probably 2 of the ball striking maestros of our current generation of players. And I think Hideki, he's kind of similar to Scheffler. He gets that power going, then who knows what can happen. I think he's just always had a little bit of that toe up putting movement that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. But I mean, his career record there is, top 20s last 4 years, 32nd. I don't think he's missed a cut.
Hasn't missed the cut since 2014.
Yeah. And he was
I don't think he's missed a cut in 2024 either.
Yeah, and he's one of those. I think he's one of 5 guys who have won low am and gone on to win.
Yeah,
at Augusta. So he has that history there. It's a good pick. I'm kind of upset because I didn't think you'd take him right now.
I didn't think I would either, but I didn't think you'd take Rory. So I'm reacting here. I got pick number 2. That's the advantage. I'm going with it.
All right. Well, my team here is turning into slight live team if I take this guy. But again, I think in the majors, talked about him a little bit earlier, I'm going to take Brooks. He was close last year. Talk about a guy who just always wants to show up in the majors. He's going to want to get back after last year's poor final round. I forget. I honestly don't really know how he's been playing because I just don't follow the live events. So I have no idea what his season to date, record is.
In the last 6 weeks, he has a 12th and a 28th.
Well, that's in a 48-man field, or that's 54 man field now. Yeah,
top halves.
Yeah, top halves, top 50%, always good. Made cuts.
He's 4th in the betting markets, so it's not out of left field.
Yeah, and I think he wants to separate himself. He was speaking last year a little bit about him and Rory going kind of toe to toe. He's now edged ahead on majors. I think he wants to get 1 ahead, 2 ahead, give himself some breathing room. He wants to be that guy of this current crop of players who stands out in terms of major championship performances.
As far as Augusta, he's feast or famine. He's got 2 seconds and a 7th in the last 5 years, along with 2 missed cuts. So you're banking on the missed cuts being part of the full swing era.
Yeah, I mean,
he's moved past it.
Yeah, healthy Brooks. Healthy Brooksy is hard to go against. I think he wants to do it. So
let me see. I'm gonna have to think about this one for a second. Let me pull up the only notes I do have. I've been stealing some stuff from Jim McLean, part of, he puts out notes every week. It's great. I'm stealing them. Let's take Xander. I'll go Schauffele. Not someone I would have had in my mind right away, but now I got a couple notes in front of me. I'm going with it. He does have a miscut in the last couple of years, which isn't great, but he's got 3 top 5 or 3 top 10s, and he's coming in pretty hot.
I mean, yeah,
doesn't win a lot. Doesn't win as much as you'd think he should.
No. I mean, he's the guy who you think his next win could lead to kind of the floodgates opening, right? I think he just needs to get over the line a little bit. another great ball striker, smooth tempo town. I mean, talk about a guy's swing.
Orthodox golf swing, but it's good. It works.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Well, I mean, again, that was my next pick. So I'm again gonna go Team Live here.
Really?
And take my boy from down under, Cammy Smith. Has a good record, 3 top 10s in the last 5 years. I think he's got the game for Augusta. His short game, his putting is, when it's on, it's on. And, I think we saw that at the Old Course a couple of years ago. I see, again, no idea how he's done this year, but let's give it a whirl with Cam Smith. I think,
from what I'm seeing, he finished second in a live event 5 weeks ago.
All right.
And hasn't played since.
Yeah,
that's what you're going on.
He's away fishing. But
the guy can play the guy can play majors, and there's been twice in the last 5 years coming down the stretch, I thought he might pull it out. So more power to you.
Yep.
All right. I got 3 names in my head, and they all have a major asterisk as to why I wouldn't take them. One thing. There's like that one thing, right? And I can't tell you their names because otherwise you're gonna snipe one next. So I'm gonna roll with. I hate watching him play golf. But I'm gonna go with Spieth. Purely because that man knows that golf course, and that man can make par from anywhere. Anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm going Spieth.
I mean, I like that pick. I think that's a good pick. The record at Augusta, he's not. I think we all thought that he would have 4 of these in the bag since he won. Back almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah, Spieth hasn't won since 2015.
Yeah, I mean, I think he came out of the bag hot with his major performances when he got straight onto tour.
The man made more 20-footers in a year than I've made in my lifetime.
Yeah. And that is key around that golf course. Last year he showed a little bit more form, got a little bit back, got his game back a little bit more
for a few weeks last year.
He needs to find that driver around Augusta because his short game, iron play, putting, all of that can save him, but you're not going to win around there unless you drive the ball well and get yourself into position where those putts are for birdie and not for par.
So here, I'll give you the rub, right? He got a really good resume at Augusta with one missed cut a couple years ago. But in the last 2 months, he's been disqualified, 30th place, and 2 missed cuts. That's not great.
No, that doesn't quite have the form factor of coming in hot. Betting on the guy who's got the hot hand. But
yes, is he playing this week? Do you know? I hope he's in Texas. He's getting some home cooked meals. We need to get him in form. Texas boy.
I think this is the week. I mean, if this had been next week and you saw his performance this week, it could be make or break. But back home, as you say, in Texas, good result going in. Who knows? I think it's a good pick. That again, I think that was probably my next pick. So I think you're on the right track here with your gut feeling.
Well, I had 3 names, so I knew I'd get 2 of them. So you can take. I know you're going to take one of them, one of the other 2 I had in mind. So go with it.
Yeah, let me think. This, historically, maybe not the best performances, but a good performance last year, and probably right now my favorite golfer on planet Earth.
I already know who it's going to be.
Big Victor Hovland.
Just say it. Yeah, I
you can't dislike the guy. He is the most, and I need a little bit of that on my team with all these live guys kicking about. So
you got all the villains so far.
Yeah, exactly. I need some good guys in there. I need a good story. And Victor, I think that's the last thing missing from his mantelpiece as a major. And I can't see a world where he doesn't win one in the next couple of years, because what he showed at the end of last year was incredible. This year, not been quite, hard to back up after last year, but I'm rolling with Vic.
The only thing I'll say, he left his swing coach and his short game coach, even more importantly, and this year has not looked quite like the Victor of last year.
I know. Yeah, I don't know why. Not sure why all that happened, but maybe he got all he could out of it. Wanted to try a little bit something different. It's always interesting seeing guys swap things up when they're doing well rather than badly. Most of the time you see guys are changing coaches, change caddies when they've been on a bad run of a year, 2 years. But seeing someone do it at the top of their game, it's different.
I got the chance to hang out with Victor and Joseph at the U.S. Open last year. I was with a player who played a practice round with him, and the vibes were good. He was striping it, and he's the nicest guy in the world. Nobody can win against him. And everything was good. So we'll see. His Augusta resume is he put up a good showing last year, but he doesn't miss cuts. So you're going with safety there. I appreciate it. Okay. So I'm going to get my man then. I don't think that I've ever drafted a rookie at the Masters this high in anything we've ever done. Give me Ludwig. Ball striker. No Masters history. But has that man missed a cut since he turned pro?
I again, just another one of the most likable guys on tour. And watching those two, I was at Rome on Saturday when they dispatched of Scheffler early doors. We were standing on the 12th and never got to see their group come through, which was quite disappointing. But yeah, you can't look at him and think he doesn't suit the golf course. My only thing is that I stay clear of rookies because I like to have seen one or two performances at Augusta just to see how they get on, see what they like, what they don't like. But talk about a guy who steps up when he needs to, winning.
There's a learning curve, but with him, I don't think it matters.
No, there is. He's in a different stratosphere in terms of coming in as a rookie last year, getting on the Ryder Cup team, which is wild. Even as a, watching, no laying up, Tron talking about him early, but he named about 10, 20 different players. So he's going to hit one of them. But, he's the best of the up and coming, I think.
Well, and when was the last player that had as much hype as him coming out of college? His Texas Tech career was unbelievable. You probably have to go back to Norman Zhang before you can find a player that had that much hype out of college golf.
Oh yeah, I always just look back at the fact that at the end of last year he was always in that Ryder Cup discussion, but when Luke said, we want you to come over, play a couple events on DP World Tour, and he wins in Switzerland to kind of just put himself on the team, that's just amazing to me that you can stand up as a rookie. I know he's a little bit older as a rookie because he spent his time at Texas Tech.
Yeah, he actually went to college as opposed to either skipping or going for a year like Spieth.
Doing all, the one and done thing that you see out of a lot of guys. He was there, he bided his time. It still amazes me that he has never played in the majors, because you would have thought that he would have been in there as, world amateur number one, winning, the McCormick medal, all of these things. And the fact that he's never played a major is incredible, but he's going to get one. He's going to get one. And why not? Why not be the first rookie in a while to do it? They've tried.
Yeah. Has it happened? There's a good stat on that. We'll find it. When was the last rookie to win at Augusta?
It's been a while. Spieth was the closest one when he lost to Bubba in 14. And, just lost out by a couple and then came back the next year and won it. Zalatoris also, I think, was second on his debut.
Was close, yes. Zalatoris is probably the closest comparison.
Yeah. So there's, it can happen. It can happen. I do like the pick. I feel like you're looking at what I'm looking at because you're just taking my next pick off the board, and it's made this pick a little bit more interesting. And I'm going to take someone that, again, someone's swing I love. He didn't do well last year when I had some money on him because I thought he was going to do better. But the 3 years prior, he was a man on a mission at Augusta. Corey Connors.
Going down the board a little bit, but I like it. You took a page out of my ball striker playbook. That man, trail bent arm and all, or lead bent arm and all, can hit a golf ball.
Yeah, and I think he is. Is it this? Yeah, this week he's defending champ. So that was why last year he'd had 3 top 10s in a row. He won this event, and I thought, okay, here we go, Corey at the Masters, miscut. So I think he's coming back. Pressure's off slightly. I think maybe that was something that could have affected it last year, but yeah, he's again another nice, likable guy. Great swing, smooth, silky. I don't know how he hits a bad golf shot.
The Canadian Kent State pipeline
Exactly.
has not missed a cut this year. So we're going money list. We're not going for wins. We're going money list. The win's nice. It's obviously what win gets 17% of the purse. It's pretty big. We're going money list. Good pick. Ooh, okay. So I had 2 guys. I figured you were going to steal one of them. I have completely avoided the live contingency.
Yeah,
I'm going to dip my toe. Give me Neiman.
All right. Good pick.
Joaquin Neiman is probably playing some of the best golf on the planet. I mean, to get an invitation from Augusta, even with some questionable comments regarding whether you should get one or not, that means you earned it.
Yeah, no, I think, again, as I said before, I'm fully on board with him being invited. You want the best players at these events, and he's gone around. He's shown that he wants to be there, right? He actively wants to be in the majors. He's done well on live. Was it he shot 59? Did he earlier this year? Shot the 59. Yes. The hot hand. He's one of the only guys out there on that tour where you're hearing about him, right? Because he's playing that well.
Exactly. Most players kind of go there like, I haven't heard a word about Dustin Johnson this year, and I'm not dropping, pick, maybe a pick, maybe not, but I haven't heard a word about Dustin this year. I've been hearing about Neiman.
Yeah, and he's got that ball flight. Have you seen he's working on that driver where he's got that high draw now, and he's got a low bullet fade. So I think he works well in nice weather, cold weather. We get a Zach Johnson year. We could see Neiman with that low ball flight in a wind, work his way around there.
Interestingly, no top 15s at Augusta. His name was in the mix on like Friday, Saturday last year. Yeah. And then kind of came back down the board. I had him on some picks last year, and he was a letdown. I'm rolling with him this year. In the last 3 months, he has a 4th, a 1st, a 1st, a 3rd, and a 4th. But I don't care if you're playing your club championship. That's pretty good.
I'm just hoping he shows up for the last day, because 3 rounds, he could be tired on the last day.
It's like some jokes never get old.
Yeah, they're just too easy. Low hanging fruit. Right. Well, we're now getting to the pick an outsider kind of range here.
Yes. I think all of the obvious mainstay picks, this is probably where our little match is won and lost, is in these picks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these are the guys who make cut. They're adding to your total there in terms of your money earned. So I'm going to take a guy. I'm going to take a guy who I think this guy plays every week. He made the most birdies on tour a couple years ago, probably did last year as well. I don't know. And again, Tempo Town, I'm taking Big Sungjae Im.
Knew that one was coming. He's got a better resume at Augusta than you'd think.
Oh yeah, he flies under the radar. He's got 2 top 10 in the last 4 years.
Doesn't
16
talk much.
doesn't talk much, just gets down to the game. I think he's actually finally got a place to live where he was living at a hotel before, pretty much playing every week on tour.
He
So
does. He does not take weeks off.
yeah,
Truly.
that guy is out there working. And my one, little star against him is his putting's not, let's say, the best at times. But gets the ball rolling. Another Asian winner. Who knows? I think he's part of that crop of the Asian guys coming up on tour who's going to be the next Tadeki, to win a major, who's going to do it. And I see Sungjae's he's easy making cut.
All right. I never thought I would make this pick, but it's the only pick that makes sense to me right now. Give me DeChambeau. Give me Bryson. Missed cuts the last 2 years. No top 20s at Augusta. Give me Bryson. His golf swing looks better than it ever has. He's working with Dana Dahlquist. He's using the crank long drive driver now. And he spends more time trying to be a social media influencer than playing golf tournaments.
Yeah.
But he's playing really well.
Now I do need to ask you, for him, do we base him off of a par 68 or just a normal par? I just want to know,
I think
that goes down as maybe one of the worst.
This is not a pick I'm super proud of or rooting for even, but I think it's the smart money pick.
No, I agree. I think I think he's a lot more under control of his game than he has been before. He's gone out of this, bash it as far as I can go, gouge out kind of area. And I think he's finessed it down. His swing is definitely looking a lot better. The crank driver is interesting. I've seen one in my life, in person. Never thought I'd hear of a tour player using it, but he's different. That's his thing.
There's I was playing golf a few months back with a man he was cousins with a tour player and he's in his 70s and he had a crank driver and it just straight zero spin. Man who's in his 70s did not miss a fairway all day, riding the crank. So we're going with the crank driver. I can't lie. I've looked up how much buying ahead would be. I don't know. He's playing good golf. Live events, we don't know yet, really, but he's top 10 in his last 3.
Yeah.
He shoot 58 last year?
Greenbrier.
So listen, I'm making picks to win. Give me DeChambeau.
I don't see a way how the golf course doesn't suit him. I'm surprised with he missed the last 2 cuts?
He's missed the last 2 cuts.
Yeah, and I'm surprised.
Last year, the year before, he got beat by Bernard, and I think they were playing together, and Bernard Langer beat him.
Yeah, and I think his best result has come as an amateur.
You're correct. 21st.
Yeah. So it's amazing. You would have thought that he would have done better there. When he was an am, he did give it a decent go. But he's changed his game. He's done all these different things, and his time could be coming. I wasn't going to pick him, so that one's all right. I don't mind you taking that.
All right, who you got? What round are we in? This is
8th round. And a couple years ago, it would have been amazed with this guy dropping this far. I've been a little disappointed with his career progression since coming out the doors hot, but I like him.
We all know who this is, I think.
Well, Colin Morikawa. A little Colin Morikawa.
I had a different name in my head.
I love his game. It's a bit more the speed he swings at, how he hits the ball. It's a lot more comparable to the normal amateur golfer's game. There's nothing overpowering. He's just good. I watched him at the Open last year at the range when he was waiting to see if he'd made the cut and he was just bashing balls on the range. It's incredible. I just watched him at 6 iron after 6 iron into, a hat effectively. And, I think he's done well the last couple of years, a couple top tens the last couple of years. So could be Colin's time.
All right. I will, mostly just to go based on that one, I'm going to go with a player that fits your criteria perfectly. Came out the gate hot, not getting everything out of it right now. Give me Justin Thomas.
Yeah.
I don't think he's quite as likable. I don't enjoy watching him as much as your Morikawa pick, right? But is there anyone in the field who has every shot in the bag the way Justin Thomas does?
Yeah, I mean,
There's no when he's playing if he's got his C game, he has every shot in the bag.
Yeah,
He's got
I like the pick.
wedges, off the distance off the tee. He has everything you need.
And he did.
And
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I was a little surprised when he was picked for the Ryder Cup. I do, I almost put him in that Ian Poulter postman category of like, he always delivers a little bit. And I think his pick was justified, no matter how poorly your team did across there. But yeah, he's a guy who's out there to prove and wants to get better. I mean, on Full Swing when he missed the cut last year, how just angry he was at himself. How can I miss the cut at Augusta? What am I doing? What's going wrong? And he's gotten better.
It's his only miscut. So we're banking on that. Other than that, only one top 5, only one more top 10, but he at least makes cuts. Give me Justin Thomas.
All right. Now these last 2 picks, you could almost just print out a field here and throw a dart at it and whatever it hits. Just go with that. But I'm going to take a guy who, results-wise at the Masters, good. Had a little bit of time off last year, we'll say. He's not been great coming back. Hopefully, I've just ordered one of these putters. So if it can work for him, it can work for me. I'm going to take Will Zalatoris.
Will Zalatoris. Coming back from injury. Ball striking extraordinaire.
Oh, I think the injury, I mean, it was always that little S shape in his back, right? That
the less curve.
You could point at as an instructor. I always remember when I was younger, it was like, you don't want this, you want your back kind of in that angle. You just don't want to be in like that. I'm glad he's got it sorted. His major record in general is just unbelievable. Big time player, hasn't won as much as, you would have thought for someone who's been so good in the majors. But again, he could be in a Brooks category where all he wants is the majors. And again, that's one of the reasons why I didn't go to live, right? It's all about this legacy and being in these events, winning these events. And he thinks his way around the golf course. Big decade guy.
All right. I have 2 more picks and I've got 2 more names. So I'm banking on the fact that you're going to skip over them. So I'm going to take the first one right now. Matthew Fitzpatrick. And I know this is who you wanted as your last pick. Crafty. Can make par from anywhere. Doesn't even look like he's playing well half the time. And you look up at the leaderboard and he's in contention. I don't get it. It's a little Spieth-like. But I'm going to believe in it for this week only.
I mean, holes putts for fun, that guy with his, great putter. He's done it in a major before. Always helps. That probably was my last pick. I like him. Him and I actually have our names on the same trophy, St. Andrews Boys Trophy. He won it when he was about 12, and I think I was 16 or 17. But yeah, great player. He's got that weight out of his driver now that was bugging his game or something.
I don't understand that story. The man tracks every shot he hits and forgets that there's extra weight in the grip of his driver. I think that
Blows my mind.
Distracted? Or do we have to worry about a girlfriend here? Like, I don't know how you missed that.
Just got married. Just got married
Yeah,
last year, I think. Right.
that could
And
be part of it.
yeah, it's like the Morikawa, right? I don't think he's won since he got married. But yeah, great pick. Great guy, likable guy.
Marriages, not good for golf careers. Children, first year, great. That perspective thing.
Yeah. Homa, Joel Damon, a couple of Joel Damon a
John
little bit
Rahm.
now. John Rahm. Yeah, I like the Fitzpatrick pick.
I knew if I was going to draft any European I wanted, I knew I was going to have to draft him around early. So that's him and Ludwig. I took him a little earlier than anticipated, but I wanted to nab him. All
I mean,
right,
it's amazing.
last pick of the pros.
Last pick of the pros, right? Well, I'm going on a record of one Masters played, one top 10. Love his game, Mr. Sahith Theegala. Just love the way he plays. Another great guy. Someone who I would, you'd love to play around a golf with him, right? I don't think anyone's really ever had a bad thing to say about Sahith.
Amazing college career at Pepperdine.
Yeah. He's top 10 on his debut last year, tied ninth, I think.
I think of him almost as like a Scheffler Jr., right? He's not in the weeds. He's playing boring golf. Doesn't miss cuts. Just doesn't have the wins yet.
His short game too is dangerous. You've seen him hit some shots at some of the events that are just mind blowing. The way he can get out of the rough, flop it up, hit some soft shots that, into positions. It's a little bit, not my normal pick with someone without too much experience, but again, one top 10, one appearance. Let's go with him.
I'm going to roll my last pick with someone that has a lot of experience. Dustin Johnson.
Not bad for last pick.
Dustin Johnson, I think golf is very much on the back burner in his life right now.
Oh, yeah.
But that man has more talent in his pinky than most tour players have in their whole body. So you got to bet on the talent. And I'm not expecting him to win. I'm expecting him to hit it well enough to get it around the golf course. And if the putter gets hot, he might end up in contention on Sunday out of nowhere.
He also has that incredible talent of being able to just forget every bad golf shot he's hit. Might be a little bit less going on upstairs where he has that.
I use him as an example all the time. So typically, in as an instructor, I give a lesson and the players got, 2 or 3 things they're working on. And inevitably, and it doesn't matter how much I warn them, inevitably, they might go out and say, God, I played bad. And I go, how many things were you thinking about? He's like, oh God, my brain was a tornado. And I go, do you think Dustin Johnson's thinking about his golf swing when he plays? Every time. Solves the problem every time. Everyone gets it. So we're going to roll with Dustin Johnson for the last pick of the pros. Before we do amateurs, I want to do some honorable mentions. What names did you look at and were you tempted to pick?
So the one that stands out to me with a good record over the last few years is Russell Henley. Had a little 4th place last year. I don't know if he's missed a cut, but the last 5 years he's made the cut, all top 30s. Again, good golfer, putts well. He was up there for me. And then guys like, probably one of my favorite golfers, Shane Lowry, short game. Talk about a guy who just has the shots. Came 3rd a couple years ago. Just, I think he needs to make that breakthrough from winning another big event, after the Open. And he could get it done.
Patrick Reed did not even get a sniff. If we're just looking at Masters resumes, there's not many better on the board.
Yeah, you're right. Again, I just don't know how he's playing. No idea how he's playing.
I'll rapid fire the other ones that cross my mind. Finau. Cam Young, and Patrick Cantlay didn't get picked, right?
Yeah.
Wyndham Clark. There's some names. We could have gone in 5 more rounds, but we
Wyndham,
didn't.
I mean, Wyndham's never played one, right? He's only just made his first trip. I think I saw a few weeks ago with his dad and brother.
His form coming in, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's again one of these guys who. But if you're talking about not being able to, the draw not being necessary, this guy just hits big cuts for days with the driver. I don't know if there's space like there was at LACC where he can just bash this out to the left and it just has enough room. There's too many trees at Augusta. I don't think he has the space to shape it like he wants to. But yeah, hot hand.
Max Homa.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we could have easily gone 5 more rounds and had 10 guys. We're just going to hope the winner is in this 20. Otherwise, we look a little silly.
I could have made an argument that I should get to pick the amateur first, but I'm not going to. I want you to. The goodness of my heart. You pick your amateur first.
Right. Well, am I going to go experience here or the man?
There's only one experienced amateur.
Yeah, there's only one experienced amateur, if we're being honest, and he's a quasi amateur, if we're honest. But no, I'm going to go with Christo. Yeah. Christo Lambrecht, the guy who the guy you'd think is probably in the NBA rather than the PGA Tour in a year or two. Having a good college season.
Very good. Number 1 amateur in the world at the moment, right? Him and Gordon Sargent have been bouncing back and forth.
He was leading the Open after the first round or just about there. Fell apart a little bit, but yeah, I mean, another very unique golf swing. Probably a necessity for being 6'10" or whatever it is he is.
Was it 6'7", 6'8", something like that?
Yeah, he's massive. He's massive.
Have you watched him play in person yet?
I've not. I didn't see him at the Open last year while I was there, but impressive. Seriously 6'8", impressive.
6'8", 220.
I mean, these South African guys, they have such a good roster of golfers in South Africa, and coming through as well. The last 3 years in the Amateur Championship, I think they've won 2, maybe 3 of them. Doing well in college. He's over there, not too far away.
We got what the other South Africans that are coming up, right? Wilco Neymar kills it, hits it miles.
I mean, he's what Bryson wishes he was. If Bryson could swing it,
who's the South African who won last year or 2 years ago?
Higo? The guy who won on Corn Ferry, not long ago, a few months ago, youngest winner on Corn Ferry.
That's him as well.
And then there is a guy. 99. Yeah, there's the guy who caddied. What is his name? He caddied for Christo and he caddied for that guy 2 years ago in the final of both amateur championships. And he was playing in the field, missed the cut, and caddied for one of his friends, and both of whom have gone on to win. So they've got plenty of guys coming up. I've always loved their Charles Schwartzel, Louis Oosthuizen, the swings. These guys can play in wind. They've got all the shots. Yeah, great.
As it gets easier and easier to travel, South Africans are playing with other players more often as well. Better competition than ever before.
Yeah.
Give me Stuart Hagestad. The only amateur that's made a cut. That's all I need.
I mean, yeah. What's he played? 4? Maybe 4?
The list I'm looking at, I think it's 3.
Oh yeah, he's making his third appearance. So that must have been his third mid-am.
So it's his third mid-am. We saw Stuart Hagestad practice a little bit at the US 4 ball at Pinehurst back in the day.
Met him at the dinner. Nice,
Met him at the dinner.
Nice guy.
We checked in same time as him. For those,
I'm almost certain that the first round we had the same score as him, round number 8.
It's possible.
He did slightly better round number 2, but that wasn't our day. We won't remember that day.
I just tell everyone to go to Pinehurst, find our autographs on the wall somewhere. They're up there. The U.S. Open this year. If you're going to watch, get in the clubhouse. Send a picture of our.
I'm just glad, I'm honestly just glad there isn't a hole by hole of our qualifier, because I didn't really show up for all too much there. I think I contributed about 4 holes in our qualifier. Did a little bit better in the event, but
all righty. It was a classic either way. All right, we've got our teams. Is there anything else we need to cover? I think we're good. We'll follow up after the event. We'll keep track. We'll add them up, and we'll report back how it goes.
Yeah, and as you say, dinner in a couple of weeks.
Dinner in a couple of weeks. Some appetizers, some drinks, the whole thing. We got our teams. It's great having you on, Tom. We'll have you back again.
Appreciate it.
Otherwise, happy Masters season, everybody.